This is the Rita Cosby Show.
I want to also hear your thoughts too tonight, because the other thing that was very disturbing to me tonight was these results that we're hearing coming out of Uvalde, Texas on the school shooting. And before I leave you tonight, I want to get your thoughts on this, because when I hear what happened and I hear now some of the comments coming from the Texas Department of Public Safety, it is nothing short of jaw-dropping and stunning. We know that, of course, the police, the local police, first responded there to that school shooting at Robb Elementary School. And we all wondered, why did it take so long? Why the guy had to get a key, the door was locked, all these different things that are happening, all these different things. And now we heard from the Texas Department of Public Safety, and this is absolutely stunning. Think about this. He came out and said that the response by the so-called commander of the Uvalde Police Department, the Uvalde police chief, was just one of the worst that he has ever seen. Take a listen to how the head law enforcement official in Texas called the situation.
There's compelling evidence that the law enforcement response to the attack at Robb Elementary was an abject failure and antithetical to everything we've learned over the last 2 decades since the Columbine massacre.
And then it got worse when he described what the priorities he believes were of this local commander who was supposed to be overseeing the whole scene.
3 minutes after the subject entered the West Building, there was a sufficient number of armed officers wearing body armor to isolate, distract, and neutralize the subject. The only thing stopping a hallway of dedicated officers from entering room 111 and 112 was the on-scene commander, who decided to place the lives of officers before the lives of children.
Heartbreaking. And then the head of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Steve McCraw, said this.
1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds. That's how long the children waited and the teachers waited in rooms 111 to be rescued. And while they waited, the on-scene commander waited for a radio and rifles. Then he waited for shields. Then he waited for SWAT. Lastly, he waited for a key that was never needed.
He was waiting for a key that was never needed because now they believe that the classroom door did not lock as it was supposed to, just like the outside door that was supposed to. And guess what? The shooter walked right in. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. And he blames this guy, Peter Arredondo. I want to play, this is when CNN was chasing Peter Arredondo, trying to get some answers from him. This is the local head of the Uvalde Police Department overseeing the school districts. He's the one who claims that now he sort of wasn't the commander, but then this guy says, this Texas official says he was telling everybody to wait, to stay back, don't go in, don't do this. Precious time was being lost. Bullets are flying in the classroom. Are you kidding me? You're a police officer. You better charge. That's what you get paid for. And then when CNN, remember when they were trying to get an answer out of this so-called commander on the ground? He dodged and weaved. Remember this?
So I want to talk to you about your decision and what the DPS director said.
How's it going?
Good, I'm Pete. Nice to
Matt
meet you.
Freeman, nice to meet
I
you.
want to talk to you about the decision and what
Department we're doing, but just to let y'all know, and I just spoke with.
I know you did. But
You're not blocking me, are you?
No.
No.
Turn this way.
No, just so you all know. Just so you all know, obviously, we're not going to release anything. We have people in our community being buried, so we're going to be respectful.
I just want your reaction
we're gonna be
the director McGraw
we're gonna,
saying that you were responsible for the decision
we're
to go
gonna
into
be,
that room. How do you explain yourself to the
We're going to be
parents?
respectful to the family.
I understand that, but you have an opportunity
to
explain yourself to the parents.
And just so you know, we're gonna do that eventually, obviously.
When?
And whenever this is done, and let the families quit grieving, then we'll do that, obviously. And just so everybody knows, we've been in contact with DPS every day. Just so you all know.
They say They say that you're not cooperating.
I've been on the phone with them every day.
They say you're not cooperating. So just 2 seconds.
Just so you know, we've been talking to them every day. I appreciate you.
What is your reaction?
Y'all have a good day.
What is your reaction, sir?
Why can we not get a straight answer out of this guy? And now we're finding out from the head of Texas DPS that guy, Pete Arredondo, who says he wasn't the commander, but he was telling everybody on the scene, stand back, wait, basically take my orders. And you're not the commander, and he's the local guy, and it is basically his jurisdiction. So what the heck was going on? Meanwhile, the door was open, apparently, and they waited and they waited and they waited. And this guy, the Texas Department of Public Safety, basically says that this Arredondo guy wanted a whole bunch more officers to come, wanted more SWATs, more this, more that. Meanwhile, the shooting's going off. Can you imagine? You're standing outside the door for over an hour, 14 minutes, 8 seconds, and you don't charge. This guy should be fired in 5 seconds. Why is he still on the job? This is outrageous. Think of those poor families who lost loved ones. Shame on this guy. I want to hear your thoughts after the break. There are so many things now that we are hearing from the Texas Department of Public Safety. The fact that there were so many obvious mistakes made, and they say it all stems from the so-called commander on the ground who basically told everybody to stand back. And I think one of the most powerful and disheartening revelations today is that they basically say within 3 minutes, they had at least 7 officers inside, 2 rifles, and they even had some shields that were on the way, that were minutes away. And they believe the door of the classroom where the gunman was in Uvalde was never locked. And yet they waited and waited and waited. And he believes that this guy was more concerned about storming and what could happen to him and others. And obviously you don't want the police officers to be killed, but you don't want to have innocent kids and teachers inside being murdered, which is what was happening at that time. The police officers have to storm. And if this guy made so many bad decisions, why is he still on the job? He needs to be fired immediately, and the families deserve answers. Let's go to Norman on line 1. Norman, your thoughts. It's outrageous.
Yeah, well, Rita, look, I think that this is a small town police station. I mean,
that's no excuse, Norman. That's no excuse. They also had SWAT teams. They actually, you're right, Norm. They did. It is a small team, a small town, but they actually had a SWAT team, and they had a calendar that was a couple months before bragging about this great SWAT team, and they did active shooter training recently. I mean, give me a break. You know what I mean? It's a border town, too. I'm not, I hear what you're saying, but that's no excuse. I mean, this is like policing 101. You know, and if I were a parent, I would have charged that room. I would have said, give me the gun. If you're not going to use it, I'm going to use it. You know, I'm going to use it on the gunman. Give me a break. But I hear you, Norm. And you're right. I do think it was poor planning, but the mistakes were catastrophic. Let's go to Steve real quick. Line 3. Steve, your thoughts.
Yeah, so one thing, I think we gave them a permission to do that. You remember the Kyle Rittenhouse killing? He shot 2 people at the, and
Steve, I can't hear you. What are you talking about?
Yeah, about the Kyle Rittenhouse killing. He shot 2 people, did 18 years old, and he was pronounced not guilty. So if we do that, then we give encouragement all the 18 years old to go ahead, shoot anybody, and you cry in the court, and we'll.
Oh, Steve, you know what? You hit an interesting point, Steve, about this sort of feeling sorry for the gunman. Thank goodness this gunman's no longer with us, and it's no thanks, by the way, to this Uvalde local yokel team, as Norm appropriately said. But the border agents actually took him out. Remember, it was a border agent. But you're right. A lot of these kids feel emboldened. I mean, you see in a number of these cases, and there were warning signs with this case that the kid was troubled. I mean, he's nuts.